Alright, it says I'm live. Go to live dashboard. Let's pull this off screen. Let's just make sure we can hear myself. Go to live dashboard. Alright, I can. Let's pull this off screen. Alright, so hey, Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading. Trade Crazy pretty much is, look at that right there. I put the line. We're at all-time highs, by the way. Today is Friday, September 12th, 2025. I hope you had a good week. I had a decent week, although it had some loss involved with it, and I didn't want to renew 190, EA 190, so I let that one go. I tried to, let me get this, minimize that. I tried on one time to, which one do I want to pull over? Let's pull this over. I'm below, so you should be able to see this. So I tried on one account, 198, which isn't shown. 190 I let go. I didn't want to renew it, so I let that one go. I did buy 198 and 199 on the 80% off deal. 198, I took my shot on the PPI report. Did not work out. I had it a little bit too close, and it whipsawed me. So that one, or no, yeah. And then I did have some good trades with EA 199. Notice that it's up to about 1,200 bucks right now. We're closing in on that 1,500 positive level. I did not trade 199 and 197 today. I only traded 196, and you see that it's up. We had 27 trades. I did catch a nice move to get myself back to break even and move forward. I just wish I would have held on with at least a runner. I am reading currently this book. This is actually pretty good. I would recommend put this in your trader arsenal, your trader library, your Kindle, whatever you do to read. This is Tom Hogard. I've heard of him, but I did get this book off of Amazon. Been reading it this week. Thinking like the 90% is kind of what he says loses, that why traders lose, instead of thinking like the 10% is kind of what I'm getting out of it. I am still building my confidence level up. I'm actually trying to get this one thing to fit where I want it to. Okay. Anyway, let's show the trade that I did win on today. Was this move right here. I came in long off of here, which was wrong. I should have won a lot more money today is what I'm getting at. I was careful around the 10 o'clock report, so I had a couple trades in front of it, and I got out, and I was positive coming into the 10 a.m. And then I got whipsawed right in here a little bit, as you can see. And then I should have closed this trade out as it moved down, and then rebought in this area. I knew what I wanted to do today. I didn't want to go short on all-time highs. Notice that the yellow lines here are the 15-minute range. What I've done this week is I'm not trading until 20 minutes basically after the open. So you notice that my first trade isn't until 9:52, and then I closed out this one. I forget why I know why I closed it out. I closed it out because I was afraid of the 10 o'clock report. So you can see my exit here, not up here. It was here. So I wanted to be flat in front of the 10 o'clock report. Red report, the Michigan sentiment report, I believe, was the University of Michigan reports were coming out at 10. So I wanted to be flat into the 10 a.m. report. Notice that this is the 10 to 10:01 bar. And then you can see me trying to get long here and not trusting the market. I try again here, which was kind of stupid, kind of good. I don't know. I mean, I thought we would retest this up here. This is the 15-minute high, and this is the 15-minute low. There was some good trades coming off of this earlier. Regardless, I wanted to be flat into the 10 a.m. Report. Now, I did buy this right here. I was able to, you can notice, here was my buy point. This bar closed and then it came down a little bit and it took me in at market. I was able to get a favorable fill on that one. But notice that it bounced off of, right there is the 400 bar EMA. And also, this horizontal line that's across the charts, this blue horizontal line, recently, well, let's say what it is first, and I'll tell you what the lines that I'm putting on my charts every day right now. So this is halfway between pivot point and R1. So the more things that you can find that test the level towards your my CCI is not on the charts today. Okay, I need to, I wonder where that went to. Did I save it? Hold on. Give me a second here. I want to close out and open this up again and hope that I didn't save before the CCI. CCI is missing on this. Oh, there it is. Brought it back to life. I must have hit that button somehow. Did I save the other levels? Yes, I did. Or is that yesterday? Or maybe that was the day prior. Well, I guess we could go over the levels I put on the chart today. I really don't want to. We'll I think this was the prior day high that I put on. I moved it to where our high was. That's 9:30. 10 minute. Well, I blew up the whole chart because I thought, yeah, this is yesterday. I wanted to bring my CCI back on the chart, so I blew up the whole thing that I wanted to talk about. Remove all drawing objects. I guess we could go over the way I set up the chart. Maybe this will be helpful for you, maybe not. 240, make sure we have 9 days of data. I guess we could show you how I set up my day, how I've been doing it recently. Here's the longer term CCI, right? So I go back 9 days of data. First thing I do, we're just going to throw the horizontal lines on today without color. Well, I guess I put the colors on. So every day I clear the charts out. I wish I could figure out a way to hold things. And then the high of the day was right here, not, so the high of the trading day before the day started. And we're at all-time highs. I took 0 short trades today, by the way. 0. I don't like, my past would be, oh, everything short. Because, well, that was my mentality. I was thinking like the 90% roughly. So what I'm doing is I've added chartreuse, I don't know, it's a green color. I'm not going to put everything in today, but I want to show you what lines I did have on today as I started the trading day. This was a significant point in time right here. That's why I think it was important. This was on Wednesday, I believe, the PPI number. That's the one that I should have won. I don't know why I didn't win that one and get a $3,000 winner, but the bar in front of it, I just screwed it up. I might try again. I'm okay with spending $35.50 on a red report to pass an EA to PA right now. I haven't made up my mind how much money I want to devote to that, but I want to get one of my EAs to PA, so that I can trade and make money and stop, even if it's basically trade my PA the way I'm trading the EA that I'm keeping track of. Now we'll just leave it here. We don't need to get crazy. So then I make this orange red. Now these are levels that I believe that the market could retest or go back to, or however that you would look at it, and decide a trading day. And I did add a setting, 240 minutes, a 4-hour chart basically. And what I do from here is I go from 240, after I have basically 4 horizontal lines in, high, low, the high of the 9-day environment, the low of the 9-day environment, and some levels inside the move. So basically 4 horizontal lines is what I'm looking at. Then I go from here to the 60-minute chart, and I adjust the orange-red lines based upon where the hour coincides. Not the 4-hour, because the hour, since I'm a day trader, a day trader, I like to go back in. Since I use a 1-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame, 60-minute is where I adjust the orange-red, and obviously you don't need to adjust the green lines because this was the prior day all-time high. This is the high of the market previous to the day that we're in right now. So I'll always go back and look at, so if we do have a new high in the day that we're trading, I'm not looking at that. That would be tomorrow, that would be the all-time high that I'm looking at. So I'm looking to bust the all-time high and hopefully find it. Now, so that's how I set up this area. So basically what I was looking at today is I thought maybe we could retrace back to S1. We did make all-time highs yesterday. If it got below pivot point, I might have considered a close below pivot. I might have considered shorts, but we were trading above the pivot, and this bar right here at the 5 a.m. bar is the only test of pivot. So I was long, I guess you could say biasedly long, knowing that the markets could always go higher. Don't try to catch that shooting star and keep thinking a hammer bar is going to continue to go lower. When you go make these highs, a lot of times what you'll find is that there's more buying support after that. There was actually a negative red report, and they shook it off today. After this, I go from 60-minute down to the 15-minute. And what I look for in the 15-minute is the first 15 minutes. So 9:30 to 9:45. What I want to do is find out the 15-minute opening range. So I wait for the 15-minute to go in. So form. This is what I've been doing starting this week. Whoops, on a horizontal line. Okay, what's this bar? Notice that the horizontal line dipped on the 15-minute chart to the 100-bar EMA. Interesting that that ends up being the low of the morning market. And I stopped trading, by the way, at 11:30 on Fridays. So I believe firmly that not much good, at least from my humble opinion, not much good happens after 11. So, or 11:30. I'm willing to trade the markets. I want to be done. So I have basically a 2-hour window from 9:30 to 11:30 on Friday that I'm trying to make my money in. Actually, what I do with this line, well, anyway, we can leave this on the chart this way, but I like to make sure that, well, I guess we can show you what I'm doing. What I do here is I make this a 3, by the way, so that it'll show up on the chart. And I change the bottom line to just, I believe, dash dot, yes. And then I put this one here. NinjaTrader isn't very user-friendly, to be honest, but it's free. And I've learned to deal with it as time goes on. And then I do dash dot dot on the high. So what this does, this is the last thing I do. That's a 15-minute range, right? Before this, though, what I like to do is I like to know where halfway between pivot point and R1. Basically, what I do is I smush at the hourly. Actually, go back to the hours. I don't use the 15-minute range until I've got this established. So I have the hourly chart up here, and then this is all pre-market stuff. So this is another pre-market thing I do. I'm just going to show the horizontal line at pivot point to R1 right now. So pivot point to R1, well, maybe not R1. I guess we'll just use R1 to R. No, I can't see that one either. All right, no, we'll just use the pivot point between R2 to R3. So I put the horizontal lines in here on all of this that you see. Today I go from S3 to S2, S1 to S2, pivot point to S1, pivot point to R1, R1 to R2, and R2 to R3. So just each one of these has a horizontal line, so I know the halfway movement mark between R2 to R3, halfway between R1 and R2, halfway between pivot point and R1, halfway between pivot point and S1, so forth and so on. So as you notice here, 24,170.50 is, and you add this, 24,170.50 and 24,374.25 divided by 2 comes into 24272. So that's halfway between the two. I wish the pivot points would have the option, maybe it does, I just haven't found it, that would actually add this for you, because it's kind of frustrating to have to do this every day. But it would be nice if the pivot points had that halfway mark. So then you spend your time sitting here trying to get as close as you can to 272, which ended up being 271 right there. So I do this every day pre-market. So I'm putting in the high, the low, the mid-range, orange, red, so the green bars, the orange, red bars, and then I'm putting in the 15-minute range. After I have all these in, these horizontal lines in, and actually we want to put in the horizontal line between R1, pivot point and R1. So let me because that came into play today. These are on 24088 plus 23966, 24027. That came into play today, so I want to show that. Oops, just move that line. Which one did I move? See what I say about NinjaTrader being very hard to use? Anyway, so then I put in, so this one came into play today, so I want to add it in, 24027. Close enough. So this one came into play today, so I want to show that one, that's why. So then as we go into, we talked about the 15-minute, we talked about I go to the 5-minute chart. So we have our 15-minute signal. As far as our 15-minute, that's 5 minutes. So we have our 15-minute signal that draws the 15-minute opening range, this bar here. And then after that forms, I go to the 5-minute chart. And I'm waiting for at least 5 minutes before I get into the trade. So we have our 950 mark right here. And remember, I didn't want to take a short on. So I was waiting for here. Here's the 955 bar printed. I'm thinking, all right, I don't like it. We're holding. And then I went to the 1-minute chart. There's a horizontal line that comes into play right here. So notice this level here. The more things that you can get to line up at your level, the better off you are. We're at all-time highs. This was the green mark, right? I go long right here. I was long up here, and then I went long. I went long again here. And this was the one that won for me today. I was long 6 contracts. I got a couple off here, a couple here, a couple there, and so forth and so on. And that was where I got back from losing the day to winning the day. But this should have been a much bigger winner. I think my mistake was basically trading in front of this level here and not waiting for a pullback. So the pullback finally comes in, the green bar happens, and then I went long. Every trade today was long. I had no short trades. 27 trades, that means that I came in on, I was trading 4 trades, and one of them was 2. So, and one of them might have been 1. So 4 by 6, 6 trades is 24. 2 and 1, yes, that's what I did. I did 2 and 1, and had there's my 27. Or I might have did 1. Yeah, I did 6 trades at 4, and just had I struggled. I struggled with the day, and I'm not blaming QuantGuard for my struggle, but it had me a little bit on the edge. So I took on my worst account today that I had, and QuantGuard was down for the day, so I didn't want to trade 199, which had my biggest gain, because I had no protection coming in. I didn't want to blow any of my accounts today, so I only took on my worst EA that I had, which was 196, and I traded that by itself. And 196 is still positive. It finished up at plus 290 and a half. Its high is still 5636. So actually, if I'm looking at my highs in my accounts right now, I have 2 accounts at that 636 level. and 196 and 197 have been 636, and you can see my peak high on 199 is 460, and I'm at 293. So I don't really pay much attention to the peak balance high. What I'm really looking at is this threshold value, is this the unrelenting max trailing drawdown bullshit that I detest at Apex. But if you're going to trade here, that's what you got to figure out. So that, in a nutshell, is how I'm looking at trading now. I'm trying to find levels. I guess in the long story short is I've kind of got a little bit of a bias coming into the market today, knowing that this was the all-time high from yesterday, and we were close to it, and I was looking for the market to go above it and make a new all-time high. So it was playing around with it. Actually, I used a 10-minute chart, I believe, yeah. I might have had this, well, no, okay. Hold on, let me go back to the 10-minute chart, because I used the 10-minute chart to set the high of the day. And I used this right here from yesterday. Because that ended up being the high yesterday right there. So once we broke the R1 level here, my target, believe it or not, was R1 in the trading day. Notice I ended up getting it, but I was trading up here. I should have added contracts on this move up, and I'm still learning how to do that profitably. To find a good trade level to come in on the trade, which today I am. Actually, this week I'm actually seeing good levels to take on trades. This right here was a beautiful level to take on the trade. It's looking reverse of how I used to do things, and that's probably a good thing because I was in the 90% previous to that. So I'm trying to put myself in the 10% that can instead of the 90% that can't day trade. So it was an uncomfortable trade to take there because everything's screaming, oh God, the market's going to go down, down, down when you look at the red bars, right? And you're looking at this right here, 10.11 to 10.15. It's like, the market's not going to go up. It's going to go down for the rest of the frickin' day. What are you thinking of? We were midway between the opening range as well, but the 400 bar held on the EMA. My stop, by the way, was underneath this EMA. So if it would have run underneath there, I would have exited the trade, by the way. So that was the last line of defense that I have. Now, if it would have went down and then closed above, I probably would have attempted again. But this is my last line of defense when it comes to long trades. I did add, I got 6 EMA lines on the charts now. I got a 9 EMA, a 21 EMA, a 50 EMA, 100 EMA, a 200 EMA, and a 400 EMA on a 1-minute chart. Now this obviously transfers out. The 1-minute chart is what I'm using. Now I did toy with the 1,000 tick chart a little bit this week. But I settled in that I like the 1 minute better. I do like the 1,000. I don't know if I will use it or not. And ideally, if I was a smart trader today, I wouldn't have exited this trade until right here. This movement going up from 10.16, I should have held this mark all the way through until this bar came in right there. That should have been my exit on the trade. Notice I tried to rebuy here, and I tried to. I think that might have been my last rebuy during the day. Anyway, so um, I used the 50 bar EMA to rebuy and come back into the trade. Got out, tried again, but ideally this was the beautiful setup. I've got to be able to learn how to keep one contract on regardless, even if it's 50 cents a tick. That means still it's $2 a tick. And if you're looking at points, it would have been a decent, right? So if I'd have held one from, let's just say 24.25, no, it's what, right here is where I was getting in. 24.037. I know it's only $2 a point, but hey, what the hell. And I exit here. Let's call it 24.094. I just call it 090. What did I say? 24.090 minus 24.040. We use that. 50. That'd been $100. So it'd been an extra $100 to hold just one contract for that move, one micro. It's still difficult, to be honest, trading micros and the little bit of money that you make on the micros. I still, my gut says the NQ. I want to trade 3 NQs at $15 a tick, and obviously that's where I was part of the 90% doing that. So and a lot of that had to happen because the $2,500 max trailing drawdown that kicks your ass if a market moves against you. It doesn't take rocket science. If you have 3 losing trades, you blow an account. It's just the nature of the beast, the way Apex runs. Apex is a predator that generates resets. So trying to do my best not to reset as much as I used to. Yes, I'm underwater at Apex still. I still want to get one of my EAs to PA. That's kind of my overwhelming desire right now, to be able to get one of the EAs to PA. We're at 30 minutes. That, and then use the micros to get to the payout land, and then use that one PA to fund another PA to get to 2. Hopefully by that time, Copy Trader will be working, and I'll feel confident using a Copy Trader. Today, once again, as I summarize, the reason that I was very cautious today is my Quant Guard was not working today. They've been, when it was working this week, it was awesome. And I was able to do really good over the week. But that's it. That's what I'm sticking to. That was my week. And that was my trading day we talked about today. We talked about how I'm viewing the market. So basically, with the 10 a.m. report today, it kind of threw me on a loop today, but normal, no 10 a.m. red report in front of it. What I've been doing is 15-minute opening range from 9:30 to 9:45, flipping to the 5-minute for the next 5 minutes. That takes you to 9:50, and then going to the 1-minute chart and looking for setups after the 9:50 mark. So I'm looking for a setup somewhere between 9:50 to 11:30, and if I trade the afternoon, basically 1:30 to 3:30. I have a 2-hour window there too. Overall, it was a decent week for me. I got rid of 190. I used 190. I didn't want to renew it. I used that 190 for to go after the PPI report, which or maybe that the day prior. Anyway, long story short, I went with the. I've got. I guess I can show you this too. I have an NQ chart down here in the bottom, if you can see it, and I've called this Pass Apex. Pass Apex, I should say. It's an EA, and what I've done here is obviously if you had a $200 stop loss on 10 minis, it's gonna hit the 2,500 drawdown a long time before you get to $200 stop loss, considering that 65 ticks in profit is a little over 3,000. So, so what would that be? That's 500. Is that $100 point? Yeah, I guess every 20 is 1,000 is how I figure. So 60 is 3,000, and then you can figure that out. Was that 250 for 5? I guess that's right. 500 would be 10, 20. Yeah, 250. So that'd be $3,250 less commission cost on 10 contracts. That will pass an EA. So that's my EA strategy right now, trying to use an economic report to go from the EA, because I feel pretty confident in how I'm using the EA, and I'm going to transfer that knowledge to the PA to get to payout land. My goal overall right now is to get to 5 PAs, and then my ultimate goal is to get to 10 PAs. I have no desire to go to 20. If I'm pulling out anywhere between 5 to 10,000 a month to start with, I'm okay with that. That's kind of where I want to get to. I am taking it fairly easy now as I trade. I'm quick to take a loss, though. I will say that about me. I'm normally very quick to take a loss, even if I have 5 trades and 4 of them are. Today I had a bunch of losers at break even, and then I had the one big winner, and it took me positive. And if I'd have just held one trailer today, just one, I'd have added, instead of a $58 gross realized P&L today, I would have had 158. That probably been the max profit level that I would have been at today. Coming in at 4 minis, or 4 micros, and $2 a point basically. 50 cents a tick, $2 a point, or however that works out, I forget. But it's 50 cents a tick per contract. It's $5 on 10. And one mini is, every tick in the mini is $5. So let's make sure. So let's go to Sim, and we want to go to the NQ. Let's just buy right here.
Order filled.
Oh, I'm doing the pass. So this would be was it? Am I in micros or minis right now? I think I'm in the NQ. Yeah, I'm on the NQ. So each tick, I believe, is $50 on 10, right? Yeah. So each one's 5. 10 is yeah, is a lot of loser, right? I guess I could change this to dollar amount. I don't like looking at dollar amounts though. I bought that all-time high. I bought that high right there, double top. We have broke out this line here though. The buy was way down here. Well, we are in Sim, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But it does matter. But anyway, long story short, I guess I'm saying one mini is $5, so 10 obviously is 50 a tick. So 1 point is worth what is that, 20 bucks? Let's just close that right there.
Order filled.
Well, that's the wrong one. Yeah, so that's $50 a point. That's correct. So each tick is worth $5 times 10. That gets you, that's where I'm getting the 1,000 at 20. So 20 ticks is 1,000. 40 ticks is 2. 60 ticks is 3,000. So every mini is worth $5. Every micro is worth 50 cents. Now I'm dealing where I'm anyway, that wraps up my week. I did okay, 1/3 of the way on one of the on one of them, 199. I am, I guess, summarize. This is only trading I did today was on 196. The net today on 196 was up $30.96. This is before commission cost. So I had commission cost today was $27.54 on 27 trades. Each trade micro is $1 to round turn. So I did come back from a losing day and turned it positive. Quant Guard was down. I did not want to trade 199 today or 197. I like having that ability that if I have a $500 loss, that it locks me out. I like that crutch at this point in time. I don't want to. And the same thing with a PA. If my risk management system isn't working, I don't want to trade with real money. I want to have that. Call it a crutch, call it what you want, but have the ability to trade another day, right? Live to fight another day. That's trading. You're going to have losing days. There's nobody in this world that doesn't have losing days. When it hits a $500 loss right now, it locks me out of the account. I can't trade it again with Quant Guard working. So with not having that ability at Quant Guard on today, I did not want to take on, because I know me. I fight the demons that live inside me, just like most traders trade. We all fight it. We all fight that the markets, it's reverse logic, right? The market's moving up. I want to take my profit. I'm winning. Instead of adding another contract at a good level. The market's losing, and you add to your loser, and you add to your loser, and what happens? Adding to your losers add up to you having a failed, blown account, because it's just the way it is. It's the nature. And even if you didn't have Apex and you did that, you'd still blow your account, because I've done that as well with real money. Why am I trading Apex? Well, I have the ability to make real money, but I'm only risking at this point like $35.50 or $17.70 on an EA. And obviously when I get the PA, that changes. And that's why I'm trying to fight to get one of my EAs to PA quickly off an economic report, and then use the way I'm looking at the market trading the MNQ, the minis, the micros, and taking that ability to learn how to do the right thing. And like I said, what I've done recently is I've thrown all of my information away, and I've started fresh. Bottom line, what am I trying to accomplish? Trying to accomplish becoming the 10% that can go back to what I used to do when I was a younger man. I was in the 10% at a point in my life, and my time at Apex has not been profitable, and it has a lot to do with what's going on inside my life. Where I was profitable at Top Step, I have not been profitable at Apex, and that's on me. So recognize the problem, me, and what makes me tick, and learn to do different and be better. And that's where I am in my life right now. I'm seeing things a lot better recently. I love having QuantGuard working for me so that if I do have a negative day, it does lock me out of my trading account, and I know that that $500 loss or whatever I stop with on that red day, I know that I can get that money back. It might take a few days, it might take a week, it might take 2 weeks, but I know I can get that money back. And that's kind of the way that I'm viewing, and that's how I'll view the PA as well. That's it. Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading, also Trade Crazy. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next video that I put together. I hope you had a great week this week. God bless. Take care. I'll see you next video I put together. Bye for now.